wonderful sight and sound. Majestic Hurricane, the iconic Spitfire, and a pair of Merlins in tight formation. Two very special aircraft here today, the Mark IIC Hurricane PZ865 in the hands of squadron leader Ben Polwin, the last Hurricane ever built. It's also Ben's first year in this role as ops officer and Hurricane pilot. Leading from the front today, you may recognise the name squadron leader Mark Sugden or Suggs, to his colleagues in the even, I would say, perhaps more special Spitfire Mark II Papa 7350, because this is the oldest original flying Spitfire and the only original flying to fight in the Battle of Britain itself. The fighters braking now shortly. You hear the call from Suggs there, and an opportunity now to savour each of these aircraft in their own right. So as the Spitfire clears off to the left-hand side, a really good opportunity now for Ben to show off the lines of this extraordinary machine. It built back in 1944, the last of 14,533 produced at the Hawker production line in Langley, Buckinghamshire. There's the inscription of the last of the many on both the port and starboard side. And we have to thank Hawkers themselves for having captured this aircraft from the Air Ministry to keep it in storage at Langley to then be passed on to the Battle of Britain Memorial Site. Had a prestigious history, not just having been the last, but also because it was flown by Captain Peter Townsend in 1950 when it entered the King's Cup Air Race. Also made numerous display appearances in the hands of various famous fighter pilots such as Bill Bedford, and appeared in the famous film The Battle of Britain. Hurricane was the first British monoplane 8-gun fighter, the first Royal Air Force aircraft to exceed 300 miles an hour in level flight, and the first production fighter with a retractable main undercarriage. It's well known that during the Battle of Britain itself, Fighter Command fielded more Hurricanes than Spitfires, and thus the Hurricanes achieved a similarly greater proportion of combat kills during the battle itself. In total, over 14,000 Hurricanes were built, with the aircraft serving operationally on every day throughout hostilities in every operational theatre, and in many roles right up to the conclusion of the Second World War. Here in its night fighter livery scheme, representing 247 Squadron. The squadron's Hurricanes were used for night air defence in the Plymouth and Exeter area, very apt for the Rivera Airshow here today. Also used for night intruder operations against targets in northwestern France. Final pass from Ben in the Hurricane before Suggs gets the chance to display the superb Spitfire. I apologise for a silence there, but what a treat it is just to sit back in awe at this extraordinary machine. And celebrating this year the 90th anniversary of its first flight, I was fortunate to be in Southampton and at Eastleigh, where it first flew on the 5th of March. And we replicated the timing, and thanks to Spitfires.com, we even had one painted in Kilo 5054 as well. This aircraft was the 14th of over 11,000 Spitfires constructed at the Castle Bromwich Shadow Factory. I mentioned Southampton because, of course, the Shadow Factories were set up after the bombing of the Vickers Supermarine Factory in the River Itchen branch of Southampton water. Oh, this elliptical wing and the thinness of the wing itself, just enough space there to put in the all-important guns and then later cannons in the Spitfires. Not necessarily the complete brainchild of Mitchell, but he definitely managed a team of expert designers and engineers who came up with a war-winning aircraft design. Steeped in the membrane and hour of British history and mythology, an absolute joy and a pleasure to see so many Spitfires still flying around the United Kingdom. Aft even suffered its own damage as well whilst being flown by a Polish pilot, Ludwig Martel. It was shot by a German Bf-109 with a cannon shell punching a large hole in the port wing. The pilot himself was also damaged by shrapnel, but managed to bring the aircraft down through 16,000 feet of thick ground cloud.
Do you like donuts, Max?
What a special aircraft this is. Having served with the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight for so long, the only airworthy Spitfire from the Battle of Britain, a much admired survivor, a precious artefact of British aviation history and of the Royal Air Force's wartime heritage. And there he goes off.
First manoeuvre, the Hammerheads. Flight Attendant Rich Tamala, the display pilot today, born and raised in Cumberland, South Wales, and started his flying career in the Royal Air Force in 1996.
I don't know how to use it.
He'll come out and begin to enter a half-Cuban combination of a pitch, roll, and loop change direction back along the corral line. Rich's first year display, operating at a baseline 500 feet, so just final 2 passes. As he approaches crowd centre again, he's going to pull up for a loop. At the top of the loop, Rich will be inverted, experiencing total weightless lift and hitting 0G. On the way down, increasing G-forces and smoothly manipulating the aircraft to level out at 500 feet fuel. Rich will now conduct another classic aerobatic manoeuvre to change directions with the half horizontal. Unlike explained fast jets, Tutor requires careful energy management due to its low power to weight ratio. This is achieved through careful design and display sequence. He rolls out and manoeuvres the aircraft away from you as he completes a quarter clover. When not displaying, Rich serves as a qualified flying instructor at East Midlands University's Air Squadron, flying bases RAF Cranwell. Time to get your cameras ready for a great photo opportunity as Rich will pitch up into the vertical for stall turn. Now a full-time reservist officer, Rich was previously a senior officer whilst in the regular service, serving his final tour as officer commanding of 45 Squadron. On rollout, Rich will now complete a wing over. Correction, a quarter clover to reposition back onto the crowd line before a wing over. During his 30-year career, he's amassed over 5,000 flying hours on 10 different aircraft types. He's rolling out now, and he'll complete a wing over fuel. Pitching and rolling maneuver used to turn the aircraft through 180 degrees.
Yeah.
You'll notice how to display that every wing over is slightly different and Rich carefully selects his flight path to meet the different conditions. He comes out of his wing over. He's going to enter the slow roll. Throughout the slow roll, Rich is going to skillfully coordinate elevator, rudder and aileron inputs to keep the lift vector pointing upwards, preventing him from descending towards the ground. Cameras at the ready, folks, as Rich is now going to change direction on the ground line for another stall turn. In his spare time, Rich is also a military ski instructor and a mountain leader. As he pulls out of the stall turn, he's going to run back towards crowd centre for a variation of the quarter maneuver. You'll observe he initially completes the first half as a loop before rolling away from us. Tutor is operated by 6 FTS, in partnership with Babcock International Group, primarily flying University Air Squadron students and RAF Air Cadets. She'll now complete another half Cuban to fly back towards us. There are 13 air experience flights across the UK that offer flights for 20,000 cadets each year. So if you're aged between 13 and 20 years of age, join the Air Cadets. You could fly some of the same aerobatic maneuvers. now going to change direction once again as he links a quarter clover into a wing over. The Air Cadets offer 50 pilot scholarships a year with a grad tutor. Students following a syllabus akin to the private pilot's license. The highlight being, without a doubt, first solo on time. Air Cadets is also one of the largest providers of the Duke of Edinburgh Award Scheme, offering a range of adventurous training activities. It's now conducting a wing over to pull it around for us. And yet again, cameras at the ready as Rich is going to pull and enter for a 4-point roll. In the 4-point roll, Rich will delicately coordinate his rudder, elevator and aileron to keep the nose firmly above the horizon as he does so closely down. We shall then go into a wing over. You may have noticed that the RAF Benevolent Fund logo is on the underside of the aircraft. The Benevolent Fund supports the Royal Air Force personnel and veterans whenever they're in need. And we're proud to raise awareness for a charity that gives so much to the whole RAF family. As he comes out of the wing over, Richard now completes a sequence of linked manoeuvres named after his daughter, called Amy Roll. For those of you that are considering joining the University Air Squadron, 15 of them across the UK, US students are taught to fly the tutor by highly experienced military flying instructors. Like Rich, it's worth mentioning that UAS syllabus includes solo aerobatics. Rich will now change direction once again with a half horizontal before descending to 200 feet for a 185 mile an hour fast lance. The University Air Squadron provides a huge opportunity of leadership development as well as adventure training and sports in the UK and abroad. He comes past us with the fast pass. Arguably the most unique part of the display, in fact, that if you are between the age of 13 and 20 or at university, you can fly this exact aircraft and potentially with this exact sequence with Rich. All you need to do is join the Air Cadets, or if you're slightly older, join the University Air Squadron. Rich will now enter the final section of the display with a crowd favourite from the last season, the Deep Loop. Best opportunity to catch the final photos of you all. I'd additionally like to take this opportunity to say a big thank you to our sponsors for the 2026 season. Our appreciation goes to the Royal Air Force Benevolent Fund, Babcock International, Runway 25 and Squadron Prince. Visit their websites for more information. And feel free to pop past our stands. Rich and I will be there and other University Air Squadron cadets from Bristol University Air Squadron. Have a chat with us about anything. We're located in the zone. Playing a half Cuban here, he's going to bring the tutor around for his final move with a waving pass. Playing at 100 feet, give Rich a massive wave. This is his last pass, rest assured he can see you. Ladies and gentlemen, a massive thanks for Rivera Airshow for hosting us today. For you and your support, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, 2026 Royal Air Force tutor the space team.
Well, thank you very much, Ross. Fun to fly, and I see you're rushing off, but I was just about to say, what a difference it is in the colour scheme, because yesterday we had the yellow and black. And they'll be running in very, very shortly. Keep your eyes peeled. You'll see some smoke come on. They'll start a little bit high and then take a dive down. It is time, indeed, for those magnificent men and girls in their flying machines.
Right. Better.
And here we go with that big roar of that wonderful Pratt & Whitney engine right up there in the sky into the first group. Sadly, only one aircraft today. We were hoping to see a pair of steermen and also, not surprisingly, another pilot and another wingman crew as well. But taking us back to the days when there was an awful lot of fun following the great roar. There were a lot of surplus pilots, plenty of airplanes around, and the theme of, what can we say, barnstorming essentially, really took off in a big way. It was a lot of fun, clearly it was potentially dangerous, but these people now do this professionally, all full-time employees, and they do a great job. Steermen are effectively mainstream sort of 40s aircraft, the backbone of training, particularly across the United States of America, flying anywhere between 80 and 150 miles an hour. And the girls, they're strapped to their harnesses on the top of the wing, defying exactly the same speed of wind in their faces as well, and also experiencing the same negative and positive G that the pilot is performing as Dave Bowell in charge today, the chief pilot, keeps it inverted for a while, starts descending, and on the wing, Kirsten Podjoy, holding on there, holding her breath, leaning into that powerful breeze. All the girls are secured by a 5-point military style harness, but you'll see them performing their own acrobatics during the course, whilst experiencing G-forces from plus 4G all the way to minus 2. Keep an eye on them because towards the end of the display, this is when the wing walking ladies usually detach themselves from the harness and then start doing proper wing walking around the aircraft themselves. Got 5 of these aircraft based on a beautiful airfield, an ex-Royal Flying Corps airfield, but coming through the Humpty Bumpties now as Dave pushes the stick forward, and there you see a close-up view now of Kirsten on the top of the wing as she rides the roller coaster. This particular team were founded back in 1984 by Nick Norman and performed literally all over the world. You may well have known them in previous guises as the Cadbury's Crunchy Flying Circus, the Utterly Butterly Barnstormers, Team Gino, and then of course the famous Breitling Wingwalkers as well. Do around 60 displays a year, performing these breathtaking acrobatics whilst the pilot is flying into aerobatics. They're all choreographed whilst going through loops, rolls, stall turns and inverted flips. Stearmans were built in America as a basic trainer, as I mentioned, during the course of the Second World War. Nearly 10,000 of them were built and trained literally thousands and thousands of pilots. After the war, many were sold off from the surface and bought by farmers and converted into crop dusters. Many fell into disrepair, but it's a very popular aircraft, a lovely roomy cockpit. These aircraft not standard Stearmans though, they've been modified with extra ailerons and a bigger engine. This Pratt & Whitney is a true, robust, reliable engine, designed in the late 30s, kicking out 450 horsepower with a big radial engine, 10-foot diameter propeller. Coming out of that roll there, Kirsten now upside down. You can see her, keep her eyes on the various maneuvers she'll be performing as well.
We've lost Jeremy.
And a great joy it is, and in the perfect environment here with that beautiful colour scheme on such a sunny day, literally the seaside is a great place to see these performers. Dave's now accumulated well over 8,000 passengers or members of the public that he's flown on the wing or flown with him. 1,500 air displays himself. One of the most experienced wing walking pilots in the world.
Yeah, of course I'll be able to name it.
Now, all the girls, it's a very prestigious role to apply for and very, very tricky to get in, and not many opportunities either. Coming in from the right-hand side, you see the smoke dotting out there again. This is this environmentally friendly. And Kirsten, once again, hanging from a harness with hands outstretched. Just a beautiful sight.
Yeah.
Teaching aerial circus, cooking, yoga, creating art, and very much an adrenaline enthusiast. She thrives on the thrill of aerobatics combined with acrobatics. Exercising a bit of freedom now, you can see by moving across the wing, literally stretched out. Couple called Orma, Locklear and Ecclesdale very much made this popular, rather expansive opportunity, literally for real, without any safety harnesses with this aircraft. And the roar you hear is from that great Pentland standard Hamilton propeller, where the tips are virtually going supersonic. Really joyous, fun, freelance, and you can see there with 1 foot on the good entertainment for you as well. So what do you got? Mums and dads, boys and girls, hats, cakes, umbrellas, ice creams, give them a great wave as she goes past, literally walking on the top of the wing. Oh, what great fun, doesn't it? Just displays all the freedom and nostalgia that there was in the heyday of aviation through the 40s and 50s, as they again join all the others flying off into the wild yonder. And what a and you will see many helicopters around with skids on them. So this version in the British Army was the Scout helicopter, but here, being a Seaborne helicopter, it had wheels which enabled its movement around the decks of the Royal Navy's ships. Please welcome Steve Daniels in the Navy Wings Wasp. In service, the Wasp was a 5-seat multi-role helicopter primarily designed for shipboard use from a variety of naval frigates and destroyers. Introduced into service as a medium-range anti-submarine torpedo carrying helicopter. That's whereby a ship or sonar carrying helicopter detected a submarine and then directed the Wasp on the target to drop. It was introduced into service in 1964 with a primary role with 89 Naval Air Squadrons, but also training units to supply crews for the front line with 706 Squadron between 1965 and 1967. Effective as a submarine killer, it was best deployed with a Wessex, Sea King, or indeed even a Royal Air Force Nimrod. Gosh, remember that, submarine hunters. Gradually replaced in the 70s with the introduction of the Westland Lynx. Steve puts it now through its nimble manoeuvres. Operational service when the war broke out with Argentina in 1982 and the invasion of the Falkland Islands. 7 reserve frigates and their helicopters were recommissioned for active service in the South Atlantic. The helicopter carried either one Mark 46 or 2 Mark. Most of them were retired from the Royal Navy. Coming into the centre now, opportunity for you to give Steve a wave. As he will give you a little nod. And there she goes. Wildcat on its way through right to the centre of the display area there. Been a popular fixture on the airshow circuit for a long time now, since 2001, when they were known as the Lynx Pair. The team were given a bit more support from the Navy and the Augusta Westland, and putting up in front of us now into the first manoeuvre of the day. Coming in at 100 feet there, putting up around about 130 knots. Call sign Black One, crewed today by Lieutenant Commander Jim Fraser and Freddie Morton King. Royal Navy's Black Cat. The team have won several awards over the years and been requested to display at many air shows, but military demand and requirements, certainly at this tricky time of year that we're having, being drawn all over the world on various duties to protect the UK's national interest below the waves. Jim now demonstrating its range of flexibility, both at high speed and at no speed, coming into the stable hover here. It's able to carry two different types of missiles, able to deliver mixed effects. A Martlet or laser-guided missile system, and also the Sea Venom, a guided anti-shipping missile. Together with the aircraft's sophisticated sensor suite, they provide a potent maritime strike capability, delivering lethality from Royal Navy ships at sea. Massive windscreen full of sea there as he dips the aircraft directly in the sea, pulling out, dive